Okay, hello and welcome. So today we are going to create VPC in Amazon Cloud. So what we'll do, we'll create VPC, we'll create subnets, routables, internet gateway, security groups, and then at the end, once we create all these, we launch an instance and we'll see if it is able to connect to internet. Okay, perfect. So now, as you can see, I'm in my EC2 console. There is one instance that is in a stop state. So let us in the search bar type VPC and open the VPC in a new tab. So this is my VPC console. As you can see, in the Your VPC section, we have one VPC that is the default VPC. So before we move, let us quickly check the default VPC attributes. So as you can see, the CIDR is in this range, you already know, and this is the default VPC. Okay, we have some default subnets as well. So we have 3 subnets, all in 3 different ability zones. As I'm in Mumbai region, so I have 3 ability zones. So I have 3 subnets. I have a default internet gateway attached, and then we have this DHCP option set. So as you can see, we are using this Amazon provided DNS, and we are using this domain name for internal communication between EC2 instances. Okay, and if we select VPC, we go to actions and we click VPC settings. So here we can see that the DNS setting is enabled, the both options are enabled. So this is how it is for your default VPC. Now we are going to create one new VPC. So let us on the right top, click the create VPC orange button. I create it, and then there is 2 options, VPC only and VPC and more. So if you select VPC and more, so it will as you can see in the diagram, the right hand side, it will create so many subnets and routables all automatically. But so let us select the first option, VPC only, because we'll create all other components ourselves so that we get to know each other better. Okay, now in the name tag, I need to give one name for the VPC. So here I see, for example, test VPC, and IP is for CIDR blocks. So here I need to mention a CIDR block for VPC. So it is going to be 10.0.0.0/16. I'm going to create /16 CIDR VPC. No IPv6. I'm not selecting any IPv6. Tenancy should be default, and that's it. Okay, so just the name and the CIDR, and then I click create VPC. So as you can see, my VPC is successfully created. So let us just quickly go through my VPC. So DHCP option set, it is the default DHCP option set for the VPC. And we have this route table created, and this is a network ACL as well. Okay, and the CIDR, as you can see, it is the 10.0.0.0/16 CIDR. Here also you can see the CIDR, right? Now since we have created our own VPC, and the DHCP option set that is available for the account is also attached to my VPC here. Sorry, this is the test VPC here, as you can see. Now it is better that we can edit the DNS options, because here you can see the DNS option host names is disabled and the resolution is enabled, since we will be launching public instances in our public subnets. So it is better to enable DNS host names. So I select my VPC, I go to actions, edit VPC settings, and I scroll down under the DNS settings section. I just click this test box, enable DNS host name, then save. Okay, now it is done. Okay, now it's time to create some subnets. So I go and select subnets, and I click create subnet. So here when you create subnet, so what we are going to do here, we'll be creating we'll be using 2 availability zones. So in Mumbai region we have 3 availability zones. So we'll be using out of those three, 2 OLT zones, and we'll create one private subnet and one public subnet in each of the 2 OLT zones, right? So so total will be 2 private and 2 public subnets. So here I select my VPC, that is a test VPC, and then I create the subnets. So let us first create the subnets in OLT zone, the first OLT zone. So I name it priv A, and in the OLT zone I select OLT zone 1A, so that matches, you know, priv A and 1A. So the name, with the name, I mean, you should pick a name so that you can get more information out of that name only. So with this priv A name, what information it gives me is that it is a private subnet, it is going to be a private subnet, and it is in OLT zone A, right? So that's why I've selected. And then now I have to select the subnet range here. So I can give 10.0.0 0.0/24. Okay, so I'm creating this cider, and then that's it. Create subnet. Okay, I create, so my first subnet is created. I create another subnet. I select my test VPC, and then I create this time a public subnet, pub A. Again I select my OLT zone, and OLT zone A, 1A. Okay, and this time I'm giving a subnet 10.0.10.0.1.0/24. okay, and that's it. I create subnet. I create another subnet this time for the other OLT zone. So I have selected the VPC and I name it this time priv B, and I select OLT zone B, and 10. This time 10.0.2.0/24. okay, so priv B and 10.0.2.0. fantastic. I create subnet and I create the last subnet. Okay, the last public subnet on the zone B, so that is going to be pub B, zone 1B. cider will be 10.0.3.0/24. that's it. Okay, now I've created 4 subnets. Okay, so now just check my subnets that I've created. So the top 3 are my default subnets associated with the default VPC, and the bottom ones are my custom subnets, right? So I've created priv A, that is going to be my private subnet. Okay, and then the priv B, that is again another private subnet in other availability zone, and then I have 2 public subnet, pub 1A and pub 1B. okay, so total 4 subnets. Now as I've created the subnets, now it's time for me, because each of the subnets should have, you know, some routing table attached. So let's go to the route table. I open it in another tab. As you can see here, we have 2 route tables, and all these in the main section you see as yes. So this is the main route table. One is the top one, I think it is for the default VPC, and the bottom one is for my custom VPC. So by default AWS creates a default route table for each of the VPCs. Okay, now if I check the route in this custom route table, there should be only one route. So that is a route for my entire cider, and that is a local route. So it is understandable, right? Because AWS creates this route automatically. Now I have to create, you know, because I have created 4 different subnets, so I will create 4 different route tables, so that, you know, I can easily manage the traffic going away from my subnets. Okay, so now in the route table in the top right, there is the option create route tables. So I can click create route tables. Now I will create 1 route table each for the 4 subnets. So let us give it some name, RT priv A, so private A route table, I select my VPC, and that's it. Create route table. Again I create another route table, this time for the public subnet RT pub A. This is RT pub A, and this is going to be again in my custom VPC create route tables. So I've created 2 route tables, and I need to create 2 more. So this time RT priv B, so the route table for my private subnet in availability zone B. Okay, route table, and the last one, create route table RT pub B. Now this is the last route table I have to create. Okay, create route table. Now if I go to route table, I'll see that we have now 4 route table created already. Okay, so RT priv A, RT priv B, RT pub A, RT pub B, and by default all the route tables will have only a single route that is automatically created by AWS, and that is the local route. Okay, now I have created a custom VPC. I have created 4 subnets, and I have created 4 route tables. Okay, now I'll in these 4 subnets, 2 subnets are private and 2 subnets are going to be public, right? So I need to now create a way for my VPC to access the internet. So for that I'll be creating an internet gateway. So I just open the internet gateway from the navigation console to another tab. Now in internet gateway console, as you can see, there is already one internet gateway available. So this internet gateway is attached to the default VPC. So here I create one internet gateway, create internet gateway, and in the internet gateway create section I give internet gateway name. So here I can see test VPC IGW, just something to identify that it is the VPC for the test, it is the gateway for the test VPC, and that's it. I just give the name and then create internet gateway. Okay. Now once internet gateway is created, I need to attach it to a VPC. So here you can see it shows detached. So I click the internet gateway and actions attach to VPC, and here I give the test VPC. Okay, and then attach internet gateway. Now my internet gateway is showing attached to my test VPC. Okay, so that part is done. So now I have also created an internet gateway for my custom VPC. Now what I need to do, since I have 2 public subnets, I have to make them really public by adding a route to the internet gateway. Okay, so let us go back to the route tables this time, and I have 2 public route tables, pub A and pub B. So let us select pub A, click routes, click edit routes, and click add route. Here I say that for any destination that is internet 0.0.0.0/0, that means internet, please select internet gateway and select the gateway name. Click save changes. Now if I do that, I now go to routes and check. So there will be an additional route appearing, that is 0.0.0/, and then /0, and then it is the target is internet gateway. Right now this route table has a route to internet. Okay, so let us do the same for the another public route table. Okay, so again select that, go to routes, edit routes, click add route, select the 0.0.0/0 internet gateway in the target, and select your internet gateway, and then click save changes. So now this pub B, the public B, also has a route to internet. Okay, now since we have added the routes to internet, now it is time for me to map these route tables to their respective subnets. Okay, so now for that we go to the subnets, click subnets, I don't have to do anything in the private subnets because the private subnets are not supposed to access internet. So in the public subnets, I select pub A, sorry. The route table, I select the route table, and yeah, okay, in the route table, I click edit route table associations, or whether I mean go back to the route tables itself. Click the public A route table in the subnet associations. As you can see here in the explicit subnet associations, nothing is appearing, so no subnet is explicitly associated with this route table. Okay, so I need to change that. So what I do, I go to route table, I select my my route table for the public subnet A, and I click edit subnet associations. Here I select pub A, so this, and then click save associations. Now if I select my public RT pub A route table, I will see in the subnet associations that now in the explicit subnet association section, you see this is appearing. So that means this RT pub A route table is now associated with my pub A subnet. Okay, so now this subnet is a truly public subnet. Why? Because the route, it has a route to internet. Okay, understand? Great. So now do the same for the other public other route table. So I select the pub B route table, I click subnet associations. As expected, there's no subnets are associated with this route table, so I click edit subnet associations, and this time I select pub B, that is the other public subnet. I click save associations, and again if I now check my public this route table in the subnet association, so I see now that pub B is now associated with this route table, and the route does have additional route to internet. So if I select now any private route table, it will not have any routes apart from the local route. But if I select my public route table, it will have a route to internet, right? So I have now, what I have done is I have now attached route tables to the public subnets. Now let us do the same with the private subnets also. So I select the route table, this route table, and I click subnet association. This is for priv A, so I click and I select priv A. Okay, now I do the same for priv B. Subnet associations, nothing, so I click subnet associations and then select priv B, save associations. Okay, now if I see my all my route tables are associated with my subnets, right? So priv A, as you can see, it is with previous subnet. Priv B route table is priv B subnet. Pub A route table is pub A subnet, and pub B route table with pub B subnet. So all my subnets are now properly associated with the route table. Now since everything is set up, and before moving, let us also check our network ACLs. Okay, and just have a quick look, network ACLs. So these are access control list, and these control the traffic coming in and out of your subnets. So as you can see, every VPC comes with a default network ACL. So we have two ACLs, one for the default VPC, the top one, and another one for the test VPC. So by default, all your subnets should be attached with a network ACL. So since I don't have any custom ACL, all the subnets will be attached with this ACL by default. So what are the rules? Let us check it out. Inbound rules, as you can see, it allows everything, all traffic is allowed, and outbound rules also, all traffics are allowed. Okay, so I'm not going to change anything in the network ACL, just I wanted to show you. So that's it. Let's close it. And Now let us create one security group also. So under the security section, security groups, create that, open that. So as of now we have only two security groups, again the default security groups. So I'll create one security group. I click create security group. I can give a name to my security group. So to give a test VPC SG, test VPC SG, security group for test VPC, anything, any description can give. Now I have to select my VPC here, so it is for test VPC, and then further down you will see inbound and outbound roles. So I'm planning to launch an instance into the public subnet, and so for that I need to create an inbound rule for SSH. So I click add rule. In the type I select SSH, and it automatically takes the port 22, and in source I select my IP. So this is my laptop IP. Okay, outbound section, there's a default role that allows all outbound traffic. So that's it. Now I click create security group. Good. So my test VPC SG is created now. So to summarize what I have done, I have created a custom VPC. I have created four different subnets, two private and two public. We have created 4 route tables and mapped each of those route tables to their corresponding subnets. We have created an internet gateway, and then we have created routes to internet gateway in the public subnet, right? And then we have, at the end, we have also created one security group. So that security group will allow SSH access from my laptop. Okay, now let us go to my EC2 console, and I launch one instance. So for example, I'm launching one EC2 instance in public A subnet. Okay, and then browse. I just select AMI. This is how we launch instance. You must be knowing. If you don't know, I'll be uploading video later regarding with regards to how you launch an EC2 instance. So instance type, I'll select T2 micro. Keep here. So keep here is needed because with AWS we need keep here. We don't use password logins. In the network settings sections, I click edit. Here I select my VPC. Okay, and the subnet section, I'm going to launch one instance in this public A subnet. I select that. Oh wow, it says the auto assign public IP. Okay. So before that, let us quickly, because we needed to do that earlier. I go to my VPC console. I select my VPC and select actions, edit VPC settings, and here I need to sorry, not here, I need to go to my subnets. I need to go to my public subnet, actions, edit subnet settings. It's happening now, it's taking time. Okay, and here in the auto assign IP settings I have to enable. So what it does, when I enable it, when an instance is launched in the public subnet, it will automatically get an public IP. So that I just forgot to enable. So I click save. So I need to do it for all the subnets that are public. So I've done for pub A. Let us do for pub B as well. Actions, edit subnet settings, and enable auto assign public address. Save. Now I have to launch again, relaunch the EC2 instance. I just cancelled it. Again, I launch instance, EC2 pub A. Select the MI. Okay, instance type is good. My keep here. It's taking time today. Okay, now I select this. In the network setting, I edit it. I select my VPC and I select my pub A subnet. This time, as you can see, public IP auto assign is enabled. I select an existing security group, this one that I created, and that's it. Okay, I have selected a server, I've selected server type, I've selected VPC and all. Now I launch instance. Okay, yes, so my instance are getting launched. Somehow this console has become slower. It's normally not that slower, so it is trying to launch an EC2 instance. Let's give it a minute or so. So this is the state has turned to running now. As you can see, it has a public IP, and if I click the networking tab, you see that now it is launched in this VPC and in pub A subnet. Okay, so now I'll try to access the instance. So I copy the public IP and I open terminal. Okay, what is that? Control command. Okay, I think it is better. So SSH -i, I select the private key and then the username to user public IP. Yes, the usual SSH message, the authentication message. Okay, now that I have logged into that EC2 instance that we just created, so as you can see from instance, if I ping yahoo.com, so now I'm able to, that means that I'm able to access internet. I can run sudo yum update. So since it has access to internet, it is able to connect to the repositories and fetch the updates. I can maybe update it. Right, so I can see the system is able to update successfully, so because it has a connection to internet. So now in this tutorial we saw we created a VPC, custom VPC. We created 4 subnets, 2 private and 2 public. We created an internet gateway, and we created routes to internet on the public subnets. We created a security group, and then we launched an instance in the public subnet, so it gets a public IP and it is able to access internet, right? So that's it for this tutorial. I'll be uploading other videos related to AWS in coming days, so subscribe to my channel so that you are aware when a new video is uploaded. Thank you. I hope it is useful to you. Thank you very much.